All right, y'all, make some noise for Dana Baker music. Yay! Bow, bow, bow. Hold on, air horn time. Bow, bow, bow.
Nice. I've also got that on my stream deck.
Yes. That's the only sound effect I have really super handy.
It's a banger.
It really is. You need it. So welcome to the stream, Dana. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is the first time we've spoken just one-on-one.
Yeah, I've never had an actual conversation that's been verbal with you.
I know.
Just over text. So
we're in the Fever to Tell stream team together. And so I think we've been I was telling the chat earlier, I think we've been in those networking events together, but never directly talking at each other.
Yep.
But
yeah, always just passing you, just missing you.
Yes, right. Something always like that. Oh, yes. And if you do command chat, you can also find Dana's Twitch link as well. Good call on that. Oh, it's okay, Jedi. It's all good. No worries at all. So for the next hour or so, we have Dana Baker here. And I'm so excited to actually speak to you because we've spoken so much over the last month. A lot of you know this already, but Hemeta, who is another streamer that we know here on Twitch, put together a collaboration project this past, I think she put it out in maybe August or so. And people signed up. I think like 23 people or something like that signed up. And our names were all thrown together in a proverbial hat and pulled at random. And Dana and I were chosen to be paired together to make a spooky collab. And it was Dana's idea, actually, to make it a Hocus Pocus thing. And so, honestly, like, I have so many things that I want to talk to you about. But outside of music, I'm selfishly going to ask you, because I know you're also so into spooky season. When did your obsession with spooky season begin? Was it early?
It was so early. I don't remember an exact date or age or like, cataclysmic event or anything like that. But I just have always been into like spooky and weird and like different things. So I was at the movies one time with my dad and I must have been like 8 or 9 and I saw somebody with a rainbow mohawk and I was like, Dad, I want one. He's like, no, you don't. And I was like, yes, I do. So
yes. Believe me. Yeah. So you're a rainbow goth at heart then.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, my closet is like 80% black and then like 20% like blue and green and other dark colors like burgundies, stuff like that. I don't own anything bright, nothing yellow, orange. I don't own anything white either because it just gets dirty immediately. Not even just like because I'm a klutz and I will get things on the white, but when I go to wash it, it just turns gray because everything else is black. So I just gave up on the white game. It's not for me.
No, that's fair. Yeah, I try to have yellow clothes because it's the endometriosis color. So that's like the only bright color that I have. Otherwise, if you look at my closet, it's black, purple, like with hints of orange and blue. And some hot pink. Otherwise, yeah, goth all day. So you're like a casual goth, yes. I'm also
casual goth, yes. I dabble in the goth.
Dabbling in the goth, yeah. I definitely am on the casual goth side, goth grunge-ish, if you will. So we'll get back to the spooky stuff because we have a lot to talk about in terms of the collab and all the things. But I also wanted to start out with kind of letting you say what you want to say about who you are as a person, what you do, why you do it, and when music really became a big part of your life. I would love to know. And I'm going to put some background music on because we're naked right now. I feel naked. I need some background music.
All good.
But go right ahead.
We can just stare at each other in silence and then just freak everybody else out. That'd be a thing. That's actually something that I do on my stream. People think it's the funniest thing ever, but when somebody tips 1 bit, I go, thank you for the bit. And because like I just take all of the fun out of it because I'm usually like, thank you for the bits. Yeah. And it's like a whole thing. But I just take all the fun of it and I just stare blankly at the camera and they think it's the funniest freaking thing ever. So I get a lot of 1 bit tips.
Every once in a while, I'm going to let you stop talking and I'm just going to go. She's like the worst interviewer skill ever, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So now we have some lo-fi background music, so it's a little
perfect.
It's a little bit
I'm
better.
glad that the RBF is like encouraged in this space because fun fact that most people don't know about me, I worked at a hair salon for 1 day and I got fired because I had resting bitch face, and that's what they told me.
No.
So I
Not
was like,
bad.
I'm standing on a concrete floor for 9 hours, not able to sit down, and you expect me to have a smile plastered to my face. This isn't gonna work.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
terrible. But
Holy
when one
cow.
door closes, another opens. So there are other things that I did instead of that hair salon. So
Clearly. So tell
yeah.
me more. I know a lot about what you do, but for the sake of telling everybody what you do, please tell
Mhm.
everybody what you do.
Yes. Sorry. So
No, you're okay.
on Twitch, I do a lot of covers, some originals. Twitch has been a life-changing journey for me. Basically, I had all but given up on music when it came to like 2020-ish when I started.
Really?
I was like in a bad relationship, mental health issues, all kinds of stuff. And then I actually Googled, how do I play Jackbox online with strangers? Because I
Oh,
love
yeah.
Jackbox, but I didn't want to bother my friends all the time. And I was feeling like kind of lonely because of COVID.
Yeah.
So I found Twitch because of Jackbox streamers. And so that's kind of where I hung out in 2020 is I just like hung out in a bunch of people's Jackbox streams, like Tipsy Tune, like Jimmy Mack was a big one. Hung out in those streams and just played Jackbox with random people.
I
And then
love
I
that.
found out people are doing Twitch Sings, and I was like, I like to sing. That's like my whole thing. So I did Twitch Sings for a while.
Yeah.
Then it kind of like keeled over and died, and I continued to do music. But the thing is, it was kind of a blessing in disguise because from there, I really started amping up the actual like musicianship of my stream, like looping. I'd never touched a loop pedal in my life, but I was like, Sashi does it, like a bunch of people do it. I was just like, I think I can do this. Callsign Scarecrow is also a huge influence for me. The way he loops with a lot of like background oohs and ahs and stuff, I was like, I think I can do that. And so now that's actually how I do my songwriting when I'm by myself. Instead
Oh,
of just like playing chords and like trying to write lyrics at the same time, I just loop the chords on my loop pedal and then just kind of like listen to it back and then just like go like dun, 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 like
yeah.
kind of like da da out a melody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I kind of write now, which is awesome. But I also do a lot of co-writing nowadays, which is cool too
Yeah.
because I've actually gotten to meet real life connections through Twitch. If you know me in my stream, you know that I'm actually real life friends with Sarah Lightman and Aubryn because we're all Nashville based streamers. And so
Yes.
the three of us like hang out and we're good friends. I've been over to both of their houses. Aubryn's seen me
Ah.
naked. So,
Okay, we can end now because that's just
yes.
the end of that's the where are we gonna go? That's a higher. Auburn seen me naked. All right, end it. Have a good night.
She and I she and I shared a hotel room for TwitchCon Paris, and so, when you're sharing a shower, just it
Oh
happens.
yeah,
I'm like, I've seen female anatomy before. It's fine. You've
it's
also
fine.
seen female anatomy. It's no big deal. We're at that point in our relationship now, I guess. So
Yeah, that's incredible. So I'm guessing you did not know Sarah or Auburn prior to Twitch.
I didn't. No.
That's amazing though. I did know that y'all were pretty close though. I'm a little low key jelly of the whole Nashville scene that is Twitch, honestly, because it seems really tight knit and I think I'm a little just salty because there's really not that many streamers here in Detroit, and so or even in Michigan. But that's incredible that y'all are friends, and I love that.
Thank you. I mean, I will say it seems like rainbows and puppies and sunshine on the outside, but a lot of the time when we're trying to coordinate events, it's like, oh, well, I have to stream or oh, I have to do this or have this
Yeah,
commitment. So trying to navigate several streamers and get them all into one place
I
is
bet.
logistically not very
I
easy to
know.
do. But we have
Oh,
all kind of met. I've hung out with Andrew Core. My cat fucking loves Andrew. Just like immediately gravitated towards him. He's like, "You're my friend."
oh, little Oliver,
So
yes,
yeah,
Oliver.
little Oliver. That's his name. Yeah,
See, that's my research coming in. Y'all see that research that I got? That's
you did it.
That's incredible. I almost got to meet Andrew, actually. He was here doing gigs, but just I had like a crazy week that week and I wasn't able to make it. Also, gigs are really late.
Yeah.
And
They're
he
getting later and later, and I'm like, listen,
he
I have a bedtime.
started right. He started at like 10 p.m. in downtown Detroit, which granted, it's not that far for me, but like parking, it's just a downtown area. It's really,
Oh
Jove in the
yeah.
chat went and he's like, I was about to say, he was
Oh
like, I
shit.
am glad you didn't go because it was real crazy. Yeah, so that's incredible, and I love that. I've only gotten to meet a handful of streamers IRL, Areza Beta, Fenwa Terrian. I know there's more, but now I feel like an
You
asshole.
met what's his face? The one with the long gray hair who does tech during the day. C-Dub. You
Oh
met
yeah,
C-Dub that one
C-Dub and
time.
Gail
Yeah.
Hakes. Yes. Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
See, I'm like, my brain. Where's my brain? And it's been so lovely. And I've gotten to meet people in chat, actually, in real life as well, which was fun. I got to meet Jesse and Ken, and Jove comes to all of our stuff. Jove rated in from Joe Plays Violin, I think, who is
Oh,
another
nice.
one nearby y'all.
Yeah, I've met
Um,
Joe in person.
and he lives like 2 miles down the street. It's so stupid. So Twitch.
What's funny is that I have Joe's sunglasses, and I don't know that she's ever gonna get them back because I message her and be like intermittently, I'm like, "Hey, I still have your sunglasses," and it's just kind of like she's too busy with,
Oh,
like dominating Twitch and like being a badass. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just like sit on my nightstand for like 8 years. It's fine.
it's fine. You know what? We're moving into winter now. Although I think the weather's a lot nicer down where you guys are. So maybe you need sunglasses for longer than we do here.
Well, it's like it. I wake up and it's like 32, and then by the middle of the day, it's like 50 something. So
Oh.
it gets decently cold here.
Yeah, that's fair. Whoa, hello. That was loud. Thank you so much for the follow. Is it Lil Hito? Please let me know how to say your name. I'm queen of butchering names, so please let me know how to say your name if I said it wrong. But thank you so much for the follow. And just as a quick update, if anybody's joining right now or you don't know who this is, even with the label on the screen, this is Dana Baker Music. We're having a bit of a chat today about Twitch, about music, about whatever the hell we decide we want to talk about. Specifically, also our Halloween collab that was released on Tuesday. So I want to kind of go full circle here for a second. So you said in 2020 you had all but given up on a music career.
Yeah,
So
I went to college for music, and
okay,
then I graduated in 2016, and I did an internship at a recording studio
okay,
on Music Row in Nashville. But
nice.
basically, I'm not gonna like say they were misogynistic, but they were kind of misogynistic. So I was the only female intern. I worked my ass off. I scrubbed the floors. I scrubbed the toilets. Like when you came in as the morning intern, you were supposed to clean everything. I was the only one that ever did. So I was literally in there like scrubbing the toilets, like Swiffering every single floor. And then they
Yikes.
said basically, if you keep your head down and you work hard, you'll get to sit in on sessions. And that never happened.
In how
Even though I was the
long?
hardest working one there. I was there for about 6 months.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh my goodness. Emily Henry is here. The Emily Armley is here. Hello, friends. Welcome in, Emily. That's funny. We just did a little recap. We are having an Acco Taco about it today with our friend Dana Baker Music. Y'all might know who Dana Baker Music is. And if you don't, go check Dana out. You can, if you're on desktop, you can hover over my title over at Dana Baker Music and it will take you straight over there. It was Emily's raid music. I had no idea, Danielle. Well, welcome in, y'all. Normally, I'd offer you a tune, but we are in chat mode. But I appreciate you so much, Emily. Please tell me how your stream was. I promise I'm reading the chat, but you know, when you do chat streams, you kind of have to stay engaged with your guest. But thank you so much, Emily. I hope your stream was really lovely. Please do tell us how your stream was. Any raiders coming in, drop what your favorite part of Emily's stream was into the chat. I would love to know. I'll be reading, but we are going to continue on chatting with Dana. And so what she was just saying when the new song. Oh, nice. Emily has a new song. Of course she does. She's like, I feel like she just poops out new songs every day. Like her song list
She's
is
a killer songwriter. She just
killer.
like, it's just like a natural thing to her, just kind of comes out. I'm jealous. It's
It-
like the coolest thing ever.
It's just she turns around and farts out a damn song like every 3 minutes, and I'm so jealous of it.
I wish my farts were that pleasant, as pleasant as an Emily Henry song.
Mine too. Anyway, so while y'all rated in, when y'all rated in, Dana was saying that she did an internship at a studio, and 6 months into this internship, she was still not sitting into sessions. In with sessions, you were still basically a glorified janitor. Not even
Basically, yeah,
glorified, just a janitor at that point.
Yeah. It was a good day if I actually got to like set up microphones, but that wasn't always the case.
And 6 months in.
Mm-hmm.
So did you go to Nashville to pursue music, or have you always been in Nashville? You went to Nashville.
So I lived in New Jersey from ages 0 to 17,
Oh,
did my
okay.
senior year of high school in Florida, got my degree at Florida State University in Tallahassee, and then
Okay.
I came to Nashville. I had never even been to Nashville, but I just packed up my car with all of my stuff, including Oliver, and I was just kind of like,
Aw.
all right, well, it's time to make this music thing happen. Because I had an audio production teacher who basically told me if you want to make it in the recording industry specifically,
Mm-hmm.
you have to move to either New York, LA, or Nashville.
Yeah.
And for me, I was like, LA's too fake, New York is too crammed, and I'm too claustrophobic, so Nashville it is.
Yeah. There was a small time, and you know what's crazy is that it would have been right around the same time that you were talking about. You said 2016 is when you went.
Hmm.
So my band started in late 2015, and I was kind of like so we live in Michigan. It's very cold here. Not a fan. Okay, I'm not a fan of the weather, but my family is here. My parents are here. I'm very close to them. So leaving has always been like in the back of my mind, like on the table. But when it push comes to shove, I don't think I'll do that anytime soon, if you know what I'm saying. But there was a time in 2016, 2017 that I was actually thinking of relocating, and people in the band were considering relocating with me at the time to Nashville. So wouldn't it have just been wild?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a small world.
It really
You know.
is. But that is, yeah, that Midwest family vibe. Exactly. So that's fantastic. So we are actually more alike than I have even realized. Because I have an auto engineering. That's a very different degree. An audio engineering degree with
Somehow, I think audio is more complicated than cars. Like, I think that there are more components to go into it. But yeah, I studied classical voice and audio production, but it was like Florida State didn't have a great audio production program. I took Audio 1 and Audio 2 and then like 30 hours of bullshit business electives. And then they were like, okay, there's your degree. And I was just kind of like, okay. But at the same
Okay.
time, I got the classical technique, which is what I went there for. So that's basically kind of bringing it full circle, what
Yeah.
I do now. So I'm a vocal producer. So I basically make sure people are singing in a way that doesn't hurt them, because I've had issues with pain and tension in my singing in the past.
Yeah.
And so my whole thing is I want to make sure that people don't lose their voice. They don't get nodes or polyps or anything, because all of this stuff is preventable.
Yeah. And again, another reason why we're the same fucking person, and I had no idea. Like I actually had no idea. I knew that we were both spooky, we're both streamers. Obviously, we're both huge into vocals, harmonies stuff, which is basically all I knew about you when we were paired. Which brings me to the question Joe put in chat, and he said, he asked you, Dana, what was it like when you were paired with me?
It was a sigh of relief, because I was like, I don't know a lot of the other people in the lottery, and I was just like, oh my god, she's fucking amazing. Like, this couldn't have gone better. I was like, I really lucked out on this. I was so happy it was you.
Truly, I felt the same way.
Oh.
I was legitimately, I was a little nervous for the same reason. It's not that there was nobody in the list that I was like, oh my god, they suck. But it was either, oh, I really like this person and I know who they are, or I have no idea who this person is.
Yep.
There was nothing in between. So I agree. I kind of sighed relief, and then you messaged me about, okay, like I have this idea. Like I think that was like the first thing that you said, which was, I think we should do a Hocus Pocus thing. And I was like, you say no more.
Come Little Children just came in my head. I was just like, I think we could do a weird, spooky harmony, like type of like situation here. And I also, I don't know if you remember, but a few months ago, you actually read my tarot using a Hocus Pocus deck on your stream.
No, I don't remember.
You don't remember that?
Well, here's the thing. When we do the tarot days, I will do sometimes up to 10 readings. So specifically, I don't remember that. But I trust that I did it, and I love my Hocus Pocus deck, so that makes so much fucking sense. I hope it was a good reading.
Yeah, no, it's been accurate so far. So
Oh, good. I'm glad. Yeah, Jove, believe it or not, the Hocus Pocus thing was not my idea. It was not my idea. And you probably already picked up on this, but the Binks in our name is Hocus Pocus. It's all.
Yep.
Some
you did
people
say that during your stream. You're just like, by the way.
Yeah.
I was like, that makes sense. But I knew you were a Hocus Pocus loving person, and I am too. I think you might be a bigger super fan because your band has the name Binks in it. But
That's all my
I'm
fault,
also
though. They did not have any say in that. It was me. They had no say.
Beautiful.
It was my mom's idea, actually.
Oh,
I
nice.
was looking for names like I wanted some type of animal so that way I could use it really visually. Like I didn't want to accidentally create a name that had no association visually. So I was like looking at names like Elsie Mars, Elsie Fox, Elsie Crow. And these were all names that were taken. I couldn't get them. Those were 3 of my top contenders. And knowing damn well Elsie Cat is not going to work, my mom was like, what about Binks? And I'm like, what about Binks? Like, why? She's like, why wouldn't that work? And I'm like, if I get a cease and desist from Disney at some point, I've made it. So,
well, that begs the question, where does the LC come from?
So, without making this about me, how very dare you ask me questions?
Uno reverse card.
reverse.
Reverse.
So the LC
2
does
this time. Sorry. Anyway,
take it back right now. Exactly. We need caffeine, I think.
I need so much caffeine.
Yes. So Elsie, actually, my middle name is Elise, and it's a family name, and it's on my mother's side. So when it came time for my mom, I'm firstborn, only child for my mom, and she wanted to keep the name, but the most common version of that middle name or even first name was Elsie in the family. And she was like, okay, but the cow, I want my kid to be named after a cow, because that's all she could think of was that, even though her mom's name was Violet Elsie. But I just think that she couldn't really get past the cow visual, which just goes to show you how important, like, those visual associations go. My mom she swapped the letter around because she didn't like the cow thing in her head. And so my middle name is Elise, and I always loved the name Elsie. And so when it came time for me to name my project, which wasn't a band yet, it was just going to be my name, which is why it's so me-centric, honestly. I went with Elsie. And so, yeah, it's a family name. And then the band accidentally happened. Whoops. We kept songwriting and then we became a band. I often wonder, like, what we would be called if I hadn't already established a name, I regularly think about that. Anyway, I digress. Cats, spookiness, hokey pokey, hocus pocus, all the things. But yeah,
family history. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah,
I never knew your villain origin story, so thank you for that.
Yeah, and now I kind of feel like I know so much more about you, even just saying the things that you've said so far in less than a half hour at this point. So honestly, there's so many other things. Because I wanted to ask you about formal training, because I also identify as a vocal coach, vocal producer. I know you identify more so as vocal producer. And when a lot of people know this about me, I go stalk social media before the interview because I want to learn as much as I can, and it kind of arms me with questions. You have this beautiful Venn diagram in your panels that I stole. Don't worry, I won't steal it any other way, but I have it here because I loved it so much.
Thank you.
This is a new low for me, okay? I've never stolen somebody's panel and put it on the screen before. But y'all, I struggle with this, actually, because it's hard to identify what you do because you're like, sorry, I don't do that. That's this. And so I really wanted to ask you, and you can find this in Dana's panels. I know this is almost totally illegible, the way that you can't read it, but I needed it here for the sake of the conversation. So if you want to see the actual picture, go to Dana's panels. You'll find it there. But did you make this? And if you didn't make it, how'd you find it? You made this.
I made it in Canva, yeah.
I adore it. What?
I had so many people pop in a chat, be like, teach me how to sing. And I was like, I am so sorry. In the least condescending way possible, I don't teach beginners. And I just didn't know how to say that in a way that was like not mean. And so I was like, I'm just going to put this as factual, like black and white, no room for misinterpretation way that I know how. And I've also I've worked office jobs, like day jobs for the past 5-6 years.
Yeah.
So I'm used to making diagrams and graphics and stuff like that. So I was just like, Venn diagram.
I can't tell you, I'm such a visual learner. And again, we're the same person. Whoopsies. Because I'm somewhere between producer and coach, because I also tell people the same thing in such a polite way. Do you do lessons? And I'm like, yes, but only if you have a project that you're working toward specifically. I don't just take on people for the sake of doing lessons at this point. You basically have to be producing music at a studio that I can get to or be at the recording session at, or you're a streamer. I will take on streamers because that is still a means to an end, But I just want to say I love this Venn diagram. If you wouldn't mind me commandeering it and using it, I would love to use it.
Yo, absolutely use it all you want because yeah, I'm here to be a resource. I don't know if you know anything with the Enneagram, but I'm a type 2, which is the helper. So like anytime I can like be a resource or help people out, that's my thing. Because so many people are like, why don't you have an artist project? Why don't you release your music? Release your songs already. And I'm like, you guys don't understand.
Yeah.
I am a very supportive type of personality. So my whole thing is letting the artist have the voice and supporting that, and just being kind of like a megaphone that is they're able to kind of like go through in order to get their message out there, if that makes sense. So delivering it in an impactful way, you know, in a way that's not like tension ridden or pain ridden. I also do co-writes a lot with artists, so if they have something they're trying to say, I'll help them hash out the words or like melodies or something. And what's funny is I almost always write heartbreak songs. That's like my lane. That's like all I write about. Hashtag sad girl. And I did a writing camp a couple weeks ago, and we wrote a song about sex, and I'd never written one about sex before. And then basically what I told her I was like, all right, so our verses and our choruses are like, yeah, I want to bone you. But what if the bridge was like a cuddle section? It was just like, and so I sang that to her, and then she like sang it into the mic, and like we had like this these basically words that are just like, I want you to say that you like me type of thing, and then it was just like back to the chorus and let's bang.
So you have some cuddling, some foreplay, and then now the bang part. That's
exactly.
You know, I'm the same way. I either write super happy uplifting shit, or it's sad and I hate everything. I've written one song that is seemingly about sex, but it's actually about Netflix.
I mean, Netflix and chill. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just the logic. It logics in my brain.
Yeah.
So.
And to your point about like, I did see that you have an INFJ listed, Enneagram 2. So my best friend Jen, who we're going to be rating after our chat, she is like the biggest, what is it? Myers-Briggs. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, but also her Jennifer Coolidge is fucking fire. Make sure you tell her I said that.
I will. I fucking will. She will appreciate that so much. So she's also an INFJ. Cool. And me and Jen are a pair of people that really shouldn't get on very well, I think. I think because I am an INFP. I'm only one letter away.
Oh, I would have thought you were more of an extrovert, actually.
No. Trisha's sitting here going... She's still here.
Well,
she's
what I
editing
say
photos.
On my stream all the time is I'm not an extrovert, but I play one on TV.
Yes.
So if you want to steal that line, feel free. But yeah, when you're on Twitch, you have to be an extrovert. But then I'm like ending stream, reading out. I'm like, just like completely deflate. Like.
And you catch yourself in OBS looking like total RBF all over again.
Oh, dude, I'll raid out and I'll forget to end stream, and then the last 2 seconds of my VOD are just.
Yes, that's the worst. And then before you can like go post it anywhere, because I archive mine on YouTube, so I have to then go into like an editing software, edit off the last 2 minutes of my resting bitch face, and I'm like, God damn it.
It's a thing, dude. But I will say my biggest fail with not ending streams actually took off my pants one time, and then I had to delete the VOD immediately. Because to be fair, I was wearing like boxers, like female boxers and gym shorts, and it just like I just didn't want to have the gym shorts on anymore. I was hot, and then so I rated out, I took my pants off, and somebody's like, "Yo, you're still alive." I was like, "Fuck." So you didn't really like see anything. I had like basically like tiny shorts on, but yeah, that was a mistake I made in year 1 of streaming.
Oh, I think everybody makes that mistake though. We all do. But that is special. That's so
yeah,
two
it's
stories.
What everybody has nightmares about. I actually lived that, but I don't think anybody saw it. So
2 nude-ish stories within the first 30 minutes of this stream. Love it. I love that for you and us.
You wouldn't guess that I'm ace by the way that I'm talking, but I am. So no, that's not something I actually talk about a whole lot on stream because I'm usually talking about sad boy feels. But yeah, I identify as asexual, and I mean, I've only ever dated men, so people think that I'm straight, and I'm like, not exactly.
Yeah, that again, we're the same person. Whoops.
Ace demi is how I identify, but yeah.
Okay, so exactly. I identify as ace flux and pan, so we're not terribly far away. But Jen, you're right in between Jen and I. Whoops. Nice. Jen is demi. Totally demi.
Cool.
And so I do have a bit of knowledge about how that works, even though I don't experience that. But yeah, I experienced the same thing. I was with a female once when I was like in high school. It was really toxic though. And unfortunately now I can really no longer speak to her because she does not know what a boundary is. And this was like, obviously, like I met her when I was like 14 and she's a year older than me. So this is a long ass relationship we're talking about. So quite literally 20 years ago. I hadn't mathed that. I kind of regret it.
Yeah, well, we're here now.
Yep, we're here now. I mathed it. I've written a couple songs about her. I have her tattooed on my wrist, and it is what it is. You know, it's a part of my history. But when you're that young, everybody's just saying it's a phase. It's not real. It was just this one person. And then I proceeded to date mostly men up until Trish. So when Trish and I started dating, like I didn't really come out or anything. Just my dad called me one day and was like, "Are you guys like more than friends?" And I was like, "Yep." Yelled to my mom, "I told you. I was right." So I totally feel that. And I've definitely ace flux for me because it goes in like years of spurts for me. So it's very difficult to identify, but I feel the pain of being totally one way. Your facade is one way. People think they get it. And like, especially for performers, we're singing about these things. And like this sex song is a great example. We're singing about these things. And then I'm like, I don't want anything to do with that. Sorry. Like, I'm like the least sexual person. It confuses me when people sexualize me. I'm like, why? Like, I don't
For real.
get
It was, so I did a songwriting camp last year as well. And we wrote this song and that was just basically like, I see you at the club and I'm trying to fuck. And I'm just like, I think I'm not the person to be singing this. 'Cause it was one of those songwriting sessions where nobody was technically an artist. It was like me, another songwriter and a producer. And I was like, are you sure you guys want me to be the one to sing this? Because literally not me.
Yeah.
Everything that's not me. So I very much put on like an actor type of facade and then just kind of like did it. And they're like, wow, you're able to like really, you know, like get in that sexual state of mind. I was like, I was acting. I am a thespian. That was not anything from personal experience.
Yeah, 100%. It's like, so I was in the wedding industry for 10 years prior to streaming, and every club song is about sex.
Yep.
And you just have to act it out. Like, you can't like be standing at the back of the stage like, hee hee, like, you know.
I mean, it would be hilarious if you did. Like, I mean, just fully commit to the bit. Just like, tee. I don't know what that is.
Blurred lines. That's actually the worst example. Now, come to think of it.
I will say I threw my ass in a circle to some Blurred Lines a couple weeks ago, but I wasn't in the space to be like, yo guys, this is problematic, because it was like a bunch of Gen X people at that wedding, and I was like, you know, it's not the time or the place. I don't think that. Yeah.
I agree. But it was one of those ones we had to do repeatedly every single wedding. Everybody wanted to hear it, and it's like, this is the all encompassing thespian moment. Let's just act, make the money, and get out. But yeah, IO, the sex and sexy stuff is more entertaining for how others are about it. Yeah, 100%. Like, it's hard for me to identify with a lot of it, even though I have the flux part there. It's still really difficult for me to do that sometimes.
I will say I've read up on ace flux, but I don't completely like understand it from like a standpoint of like asexual versus ace flux. So if you wouldn't mind giving me a brief rundown.
No, for sure. And I've heard this from different people in different ways. It's kind of like how I've heard people talk about non-binary is that it is what it is, and it means something different for everybody. Because I'm somewhere also on the non-binary spectrum, and I didn't know that till Twitch, because I thought non-binary looked like this specific androgynous type of person. And I had no idea, and truly, and I have no problem saying this out loud, is that I had a lot to learn. We always all have a lot to learn. How are you going to grow? And so when I started to hear people talk, Merms is the big one for me, Mermaid Unicorn. When I started to hear her speak about, because she's this person who goes by she, they, and is incredibly feminine, but is non-binary. Like, I don't think that they ever go back and forth between anything other than I am non-binary, and I could not understand. And I happened to be listening one day, and they started to talk about it. I was like, oh my God, I think I might be non-binary. Like, this is all how I feel. And then I was on a panel, like a pride panel one day, probably in 2021, for like, it was just this whole thing. Right, IO, totally. It was this whole thing with the LGBTQ2I plus community, and there was a reason, and I cannot remember what the reason for the panel was, but it was Pride Month. So there wouldn't be a reason. And somebody on the panel identified as ace flux, and again, it's like non-binary in the way that it might just mean something different to everybody. But for me, I've always had these huge swings, and it's not even necessarily relationship to relationship, because a lot of people will be like, that's not ace flux. That's just like, you do a lot in the beginning of the relationship and then it dies off. And it's like, but that's not, it's totally different than just, I don't want that anymore from you. But it's from everybody. Like, for me, it's very much that. I could be, Trish and I have been dating for 5 years in a couple weeks now, which is crazy. Congrats. Thanks. It's crazy. And I agree, Io. And so it kind of just depends, because I never, like I said, Trish would have never known that I am how I am, and I don't come off as sexual. It's just so many things. And there were a couple years where I was good with it. Here we are. We have a healthy sex life. It's great. And for me, it literally goes. It just dives off one day, and I don't want it anymore. And Trish has been very, very understanding of this as a fellow female person. But men are like, I don't get this. I don't know that unless like a masculine person who may also experience this, they're the only people that are going to get it, honestly. Because most men who are cisgender and, you know, heterosexual, they are like, well, we're over then. And it's like, oh, okay, thanks. It really isn't personal, bro. Like,
yeah, because it's like, was it just about the sex for you? Like, because then you start to question things. Literally, I've tried to explain demi/ace to people, especially like people on dating apps, because I would put that in my profile.
Yes.
And it would always be like, well, you haven't had me yet. And I'm like, literally, fuck off.
Literally.
Like, seriously.
Yeah. And I listen, I do not envy you for trying to date at all right now, to be honest. Period.com. But then also being ace and demi, like that's a lot. Like, I find myself very attracted to people, but like I don't want to like do anything. Like, I find you attractive. Oh yeah, you're super fucking hot, but like I'm good. Like, you can stay over there. That's fine.
Oh yeah. I compare it to being in an art museum. I'm like, I can appreciate the art. I don't necessarily want to touch the art.
Right. And that's it. I'm somewhere in the middle for that, because I like I said, I don't identify as demi, but I do totally understand. And actually, for the sake of the conversation, I do know what demi is, but please explain for anybody who does not know what demisexual means.
Yeah, so if you think about, like, I think everything's a spectrum or a continuum, because like you were saying with non-binary, you thought it was like just directly in the middle of like man and woman is kind of like what I got from that. But it's like, it's a spectrum. So if you don't feel like completely man or completely woman, maybe you're like 60%, 40% one day, maybe you're 90-10 another day. Like, that's still very much non-binary, and it's still very valid. So demi's kind of like in the middle of the spectrum between completely asexual and then somebody who is either heterosexual, homosexual, pansexual, somebody who experiences sexual attraction on a regular basis. A demi is somewhere kind of in the middle, where it's like usually some kind of bond needs to be formed first, like a friend bond or like a relationship type bond. For me, it had to be a relationship one. So I could not experience sexual attraction towards somebody unless I was like in a relationship, like was falling in love, that sort of thing. It didn't happen. Like, I can't look at somebody like that I'm interested in, and like even if like there's great chemistry and we're vibing, like I just don't feel anything like sexually for them, unless like, you know, like there's like that love component, which like a lot of people have been like, oh well, that's just women's biology and blah blah blah. Of course you want to like save yourself for somebody you're in a relationship with. But I was like, no, because I know women who like will like just bang anything in sight, because like they're just like, I can do whatever the hell I want with my body, and that's what I want to fucking do. And like, that's her prerogative, and that's awesome. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's just, it's a lot more rare for you to see that in a woman than in a man. That's all.
100%. And like Dallas just said, I'm still figuring it out. This has been a big year for me in terms of identity, how I identify. And I 100%, like, I just think a lot of men, and Dallas, props to you for figuring it out. I know so many men in the last couple of years that have been digging, and at least 3 of, and I'm including you in that number at this point because it counts. But like men who have spent time in my community and then come to me and been like, hey, like, I know this doesn't like matter to you, but I got to tell somebody that like, I don't think I'm cis anymore. Like, I'm not. And so many men are just not willing. They've been fed this thing. We know the thing. We know the toxic masculinity thing. They've been fed this for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and they're never going to get out of it. And props to men who just don't have a problem digging. That seriously, Dallas, I'm talking to you, and there might even be people lurking who you know who I'm talking to. I won't out anybody, obviously, but seriously, thank you for doing the work, because I do regularly feel like it's women, trans women, who are really the only ones doing the work on our identities. It's just, I don't know. It's just, I think it's just so hard for men to understand that you can cry, you can emote. Do you guys know you can cry?
Yeah, but I had an ex who just basically, he was like, I've been told my whole life that I can't do this thing, so to hear that I can, it's just kind of like really weird, and
Yeah.
I'm having to kind of shed that, I don't know what the word would be, just that kind of like misconception that like you've thought to be reality and truth. And the thing is, like, a lot of what shapes our concept of the universe around us is just facts we've been told by our parents that we've taken as gospel that might not necessarily be gospel. It's just
Yeah.
their perception of how the world works.
Yeah.
Or, you know, the people that you surrounded with as far as like your community, your neighborhood, like where you grew up, where you went to school, that sort of thing. So he was like, it's okay for you to have feelings because you're a woman, but it's not okay for me to have feelings because I'm a man, and being sensitive, it really makes it hard for me. And
Yeah.
so I was like, you know what? I never heard of it that way, because my whole life I'm just kind of like, you guys, like, you need to like actually like take care of like your emotions and like take responsibility for them, because I feel like a lot of guys just kind of like are like, oh well, I'm just gonna push it down and whatever, and then it comes out in really toxic ways because they
Yes.
don't deal with all of that bottled up like rage and like, you know, sadness and loneliness. And but it's not always easy to do the work, but when people go out of their way to do the work, I think it's
Yes.
exceptional.
Yes,
So
exactly. And it's I understand why they do what they do. I do. Like, you watched it growing up. It don't matter how old you are. You watch men get put in these boxes, and I'm not like they're stuck in these boxes, and it really does take surrounding yourself with a safe place and a safe community to be like, whoa, I might have to open this box. Like, I identify with this stuff, and that takes a lot of fucking courage. It takes a lot of courage.
Absolutely.
Women are way quicker to support each other and be like, oh my God, of course. Like, yes, like, what do you need? Men are like, bro up, man up, shut the fuck up. Like, no, it's fine. Everything's fine.
Stupid.
You're allowed to cry. If you are somebody in this chat who doesn't think you're allowed to cry, you're allowed to cry. I'm telling you, I'm giving you permission.
Yes, anybody, no matter how you identify, crying is a very human thing to do.
Yeah.
And just because people have told you you need to be a certain way doesn't mean that you are that way.
Yeah.
It's okay to experience emotion, and you should. And
Yeah.
it's not something you ever need to shy away from, because there will be somebody who will identify with you and be willing to be there for you and validate you through these things, even if you think that there's not.
And this goes to the other side, and I'm guessing you are going to relate with this, is that men have been told they have to do that one thing, be in that one box, whereas women are constantly sexualized, and so we're just supposed to accept when we are sexualized, even though you and I aren't particularly sexual beings. I just want to exist. Can you not look at my boobs? Like,
Yeah. I will say, school dress codes always piss me off.
right?
Because it's like, I went to high school for my senior year in Florida, in the Florida Keys. Basically the fucking equator. It's hot as shit.
Yeah.
My hair was up every single day. I wore like, you know, like freaking like flip-flops and stuff. And I never used to wear flip-flops before I moved to Florida. But that was just like my foot attire, because I was just like, I'm gonna sweat through these socks if I put them on, so I'm not gonna even fool with that. But yeah, it's just like school dress codes are incredibly sexist against women, because it just, we can't exist comfortably because men may or may not look at us a certain way, and they can't control themselves. Like, there are women who love women and are sexually attracted to women that see other women naked in locker rooms and they can control themselves. So why can't men?
Right.
Like,
1000%.
make it make sense.
Yeah. And it's just such it's a problem I did not think we were going to talk about today. I'm always pleasantly surprised when conversations just go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This has taken a lot of different directions, but I'm here for every single one.
I know. And so I just think you're so dead on, if we can control ourselves. Although the girl that I dated, who is tattooed on my wrist, she was one of those people that actually kind of did not fit that gender mold, and she really did have an issue controlling herself. She was one of those people that I had to constantly be like, maybe not because I'm a kid and I'm not out of the closet and I'm still figuring it out because I'm 14, but because don't touch me. Like, yeah. and she was a woman. She is a woman. And so it's like, there's always somebody who's going to ruin it for everybody. But it's part of this bigger issue. And again, I'm happy to always sink my teeth into stuff like that, honestly. But for the sake of being able to talk about our collab, which we've barely done, actually.
Sorry.
No. Oh my God, no. I did not like that.
No, I know you didn't mean it that way. I was just kind of like, shit. It's both of us that have not been talking about Halloween stuff because we've been talking about literally everything else. So.
But that's okay because this is what my Acco Taco About It is truly about. It's about letting the conversation. That's what I told you. Like, don't worry about what we actually want to talk about because you got to let the conversation go where it's going to go, or else nobody's going to listen. It's boring.
Yeah, it can't be super duper structured and like, black and white and like concrete, like this and this and this, and we must do this topic in this order. Yeah, no, that's not how the human mind works. And my ADHD ass, I don't think linearly. I think like this, like.
Yes. Yeah. And so like I was going to say about the whole INFJ Enneagram thing, like I don't know lots about that stuff, but I am a Capricorn and I know a lot about astrology nowadays because I've been studying that for going on 4 years. January 2021 is when I started studying tarot, and with tarot comes astrology, which I didn't know actually until I started studying. And so I feel like a lot of these points and the way our brains work, like they actually kind of go together. I'm not surprised that I might also be an Enneagram 2. I have no idea what I am, to be honest. I would have to take a test. Like, sure. Not a clue. But everything you're describing definitely describes how my personality works in general. Being the helper, wanting to help people, like, yeah, I have my own shit to do, of course, but like, how can I make you shine? How can I lift up your voice, kind of thing? And I feel
you should definitely have Jane Huntsman on because she's an Enneagram 2 as well. And I think you guys would vibe.
I did have her on, and we had a fantastic chat. I adore her. Yeah. So I think this is the 25th or 26th episode, if you will call it such. So we've had quite a lot of range of people. But I started to work down my list of like fever to tell people,
Yeah. Makes sense.
Because you weren't on my radar for a while. I found you when you were still D-Bakes, when your username was still D-Bakes.
Yep. Which I changed that right before TwitchCon San Diego because I was like, if I'm going to change it, I need to change it now because I was performing at TwitchCon San Diego that year and I was just kind of like, I've got to, because I was performing with Auburn and Sarah. We did like 3-part harmony the whole time. So it was Auburn's performance, but she invited Sarah and I to do BGVs and I was like, hell yeah, dude. I would absolutely love to not be the center of attention and just like sing your songs with you because her songs are freaking awesome.
Yes. So. Yes. And I don't know how, again, I have no idea how we're the same person at all, but I feel the same way. Being the lead singer actually stresses me out the most. I love doing backgrounds. Hit me with a set of just background where I can just alto myself into the background and I'm happy. You're the soprano yourself into the background, but I am the alto myself into the background. And there's something about adding that magic. Like, it's fine and dandy being the lead singer, but I love doing background vocals.
It's fun because you get to add dimension and like character to it.
Which leads us into the collab that we can now talk about for a little bit here before we hit an hour. Because I'm not trying to take up too much of your time. You had to work today. You have a whole nother stream tonight. Didn't you say you have a whole other stream tonight?
I don't have a stream. I'm going to somebody's show, but it doesn't start until 8. And it is currently 5:56 where I am. So we're still good.
Okay.
If we go a little over, no worries.
Good to know. Good to check in. I knew you. I remember you had something. I just couldn't remember exactly what. Show, stream. It's all the same.
It's a musical event of sorts that involves performing aspects. So.
Yeah. And so full circle, getting back to Dana's first message to me about this collab that I've played, I think 3 times today on the stream.
Good.
I know. I'm loving it. I'm adoring it. I'm not sick of it, believe it or not. Nice. The first message, actually, you know what? I'm going to scroll up and I'm going to look at the first message.
Put my ass on blast. Let's go.
Maybe not word for word, but let me scroll up.
I mean, I don't think I said anything that I'm ashamed of or anything.
No. I just want to know exactly what you said because I was like, I love this message. Oh, my first message to you is look, a tarot reading. Do you remember that?
I don't do a bunch of tarot readings for people. I rarely get mine read, so when I get it read, then I usually remember it.
And that's fair. For me, it's become a business. I love the business. Don't get me wrong. I adore doing readings, but reading by reading, I have no idea anymore. So your message, there's nothing embarrassing here. It was Erin. So stoked to pair with you for the Halloween collab, pumpkin emoji. Being that we're both so big on Vox and Hocus Pocus, I thought a haunting, harmony-laden, a cappella-ish version of Come Little Children would be super cool. I'm also definitely open to other songs and approaches. Let me know your thoughts. Smiley face. And I was like, yes, mashing it up into something too. So stoked that you're my partner. And it's all history. And that's exactly, we did not stray away.
Nope. No detours. We were just like, this is our path. We're doing it.
Yeah. And I think that's why it ended up actually sounding as decent as it does is because there was always a direction. And even though it didn't end up being a cappella-ish, because I went way overboard with the amount of keyboards that I recorded,
it's all good because your production ended up being freaking fire. And I was just kind of like, like I'll add some like backgroundy, like vocal type of stuff. If you want to go the vocal acapella route, we can otherwise.
Yeah.
But then once like we had put our parts together and it was just voice, I was like, something's missing. So that's when I was like, we need keys.
Yeah.
But then from there, you're like, what if I build it out to this epic thing with a fucking music box? And I was like, hell yeah, dude. Let's friggin' do it.
Whoops. Do you know how many tracks that shit ended up being? I should have sent you the project just for shits and giggles. Just look at this. It ended up being like 40 plus tracks.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Because I cheated. What had happened was, and I'll out myself because I'm learning. Dana knows this. I don't necessarily identify as like a producer at this point yet because I'm practicing. I just bought Pro Tools professionally. And the vocal tuner that I know how to use from watching producers use it for, decades at this point. So it was basically my first foray into actual production. And I didn't have the cables I needed at the time to do stereo keyboard tracks. I do now. Today was my first day with the stereo. I had everything down mixed into mono up until today. And so when I started to see the cracks of how I knew I cheated and I'm like, but it's going to be fine, right? This is like kind of a trial in a way. I'm good at producing vocals all day long because as a vocalist, I feel like you're probably the same way. I'm good at producing vocals and I know exactly what I need. You need doubles and you need to be able to pan them, all the things, which I was talking about earlier, actually. And I have a lot to learn in terms of other things.
Right.
So I had to cheat my way through some keyboard stuff because I did not have what I needed to do stereo keys.
Gotcha.
Yes. So I had to cheat a lot, and there ended up being 10 mixes of this song, which means 10 times I went back in and changed shit.
But that's the thing with producers, like they are very detail oriented and they just like want to get it right. And it's like the little adjustments that can make a really big difference. So.
Yeah. And then like I was like, okay, I'm trying to master this shit.
Literally and figuratively, like master the track, but also master the... Yeah.
Right. And I was trying so hard. It kept pulling things out of the mix that we weren't liking. But honestly, at the end of the day, it taught me something. And it's that, well, if you thought it might become a problem 5 mixes ago, guess what? It's going to be a problem. Just fix it the first time.
Yes.
It could have been like 6 mixes instead of 10. But because I was trying, I had a lot to learn. But what Dana sent me were a lot of vocal stems that were really, really beautifully produced. And you can tell that you're classically trained. The way that like you hold your voice is so beautiful. And a lot of you know this. And I had asked Dana early on in the process, like, is it okay if like my bandmate who is a producer by trade, I need his help. Are you okay with me giving it to him? Because like I need help. And and the first thing he said was like, who is this singer? And he listens to me sing all day and all night. Like he's been a part of LC Banks since like day 2. So I've been working with him for 8 years. And he was like, "Who is this singer?" I'm like, "Oh, she's another streamer. You know, you can go check her out. Whatever. She doesn't have much music anywhere, but she's a streamer, also vocal producer, vocal coach type of person." He's like, "Holy shit, you guys sound good together."
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I think like with your like rich altoness and like the airy soprano-ness I was going for, I
Yeah.
think it balanced out really, really well.
Yeah, it was hard for me to manage our balance, because volume wise, and y'all, the amount of help that Phil truly gave me, paragraphs of feedback. He's like, "I'm so sorry. I hope I'm not overwhelming you." I'm like, "No, I'm gonna do it all, every single thing you're telling me," because I was a little buried. I had to do a lot of EQ on my voice to make it match you sonically.
Okay.
Because you cut through great, but altos don't cut through mixes very well, because we're kind of in the same sonic area as everything else. And so it was a lot. And I don't know so we kind of modeled the Come Little Children portions after this a cappella arrangement you sent me. Can you tell me about where you found it? I had never heard it before.
I literally just looked up Come Little Children on Spotify.
Did you
and
really?
that was the first one that came up.
So you had not heard that before?
Nope.
That's so funny. I hadn't either. I don't know how to even say the name of that group. Is like Eritan or something.
Ariatan, something like that. But I
Eritan.
just knew that it had like an a cappella-ish element to it. It had the little like plucked strings, the dun,
Yes.
dun, dun. But besides that, it was just mostly vocals. And I was like, this is my alley. I enjoy this.
Yeah.
So
And really, the only thing we pulled out of that was that one motif. That
yeah, the ooze. Yeah,
that one motif was the only thing where that actually kind of made it through till the end process. But I love it. I think I added all of that part. Like if you've listened to it, anybody in chat, who I've just been like shoving it down people's throats. If you've listened, right?
Consensually.
Like, yes, consensually shoving it down people's throats. That one motif is predominantly Dana. That big pad of harmonies that happens in between each verse. Yes, respectfully shoving hocus pocus stuff down people's throats. That's mostly Dana. I added one of my own that was in the middle somewhere. There was a middle one. There you go. There was a middle one that was missing. And then I don't even know if I told you this, Dana. I faked an even higher one of you.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
I pulled your highest one and made it the harmony above it.
Oh, nice.
You
Cool.
can't tell. If you solo it, it's terrible because it's just tuned. It's tuned really aggressively because it's, a whole harmony up. But in the mix, you would never know how aggressively it's tuned in. So those oohs in between each verse is actually like 6 parts, I think, doubled.
Oh, sweet.
So just that one part of the song is like 12 tracks.
Yeah, because people listen to it and they're just kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, like there's some like keys and music box and it probably like, took this long to record the tracks, but you don't realize like what sounds like it's maybe 5 or 6 tracks is 40. And there's like so much like compression, EQ, like reverb, all kinds of elements added to it. So.
Yeah. If anybody's interested, I could do a stream one day breaking down every single piece because I have the equipment to be able to do that. You have to have 2 interfaces to do something like that. And I could do it in theory. So if anybody's interested in that, let me know. That could be kind of a cool like bonus stream. Yeah, I that would be fun for me. And I would probably be like, hey, if you want to join, please, if you would like to be there, Dana,
Sure,
let me know. But yeah, that was it. Honestly, that collab experience was so cool. And it makes so much sense that we have worked as well together, because I really did not realize that we're the same person.
In so many ways.
In so many ways.
And I felt bad because my life just was stupid freaking busy
Oh.
during the entire month of October. I went to 2 weddings and then I
Yeah.
did a songwriting camp and then
Yeah.
I went to several music industry events where it's just kind of like it wasn't just networking. Like one of them I actually like had to like put on because I'm a part of this community that's like a Nashville pop-based community that uplifts indie artists.
Nice.
And so I'm actually somebody that does a lot of admin work for that type of like thing. I don't just show up and talk to people. It's like there's a lot of like prep work
Back.
before, and
Yeah.
we have to screen all the submissions, and then we would have like 100 submissions to go through just to make sure nobody's like saying like some fucked up shit in their track, because it's a
Right.
listening event. So we would listen to like 20 to 30 songs during the event. We would have to decide which ones we're going to listen to in
Yeah.
order to vary the genres and make sure people aren't played. And so it just everything was happening all at once. And you did like all of the production that time. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I wish I could have helped more, but I just couldn't.
No, oh my gosh, absolutely not. But honestly, like, if you would be up for it, I would love to collab again just for the fucking hell of it. Like,
Sure, yeah.
whether it's writing a song or whether it's covering a song, I would totally love to do that with you again, because I think we work so well together. Like, and I had, okay, here's the thing. We have one big difference, and it's that you're Hufflepuff. That's the only difference.
Yeah, I've been referred to as the Hufflest of Puffs. It's a thing. Every time I've taken any type of test, I got Ravenclaw once, but besides that, I just like the thing is like externally when you first meet me, usually it's kind of like Ravenclaw vibes, because I
goth
grew up in a
part.
household where everybody was not as sensitive as me. Like all of my parents and siblings, they're all like, if you know Myers-Briggs, they're all T. They're all thinking. They're all very much kind of like, oh, well, the logical thing. You shouldn't be upset. Why are you choosing to be upset about this situation? Blah, blah, blah. So I had to learn how to go through life with that lens. And so I had to leave all the squishiness inside. And so
Yeah.
me stating that I'm a Hufflepuff is a way to kind of be like, I know I come off very like logical and just kind of like big words, but I'm like, but on the inside, I just want cuddles and like for everybody to get along and stuff. And yeah, and I love puppies and kitties. And just like, I'm that girl. I don't know if you remember that video. That's just like, I really love cats. Like that dating video. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about cats again. I just want to put them in little bow ties in a basket. Like that's me. Internally, that's me at all times.
I feel like I also flashed to the little girl who gets gifted a kitten. And she's like, is it for me? Can I keep it? Like,
Yep.
that's exactly what I go to. Yes, Danielle. October was bonkers. But yeah, that's honestly our biggest difference, because you can't spell Slytherin without me. That's all I have to say about that.
I will
sorry
say,
about
what's
it.
funny is I've seen so many memes where Slytherins are like, you know, they're super duper, like outwardly just kind of like, you know, not super duper emotional. They're very like kind of like straightforward and logical. And it's just like, if you hurt my Hufflepuff, I will fucking end you.
That's why we're friends. We're friends now. Sorry. I just,
Yes. No.
it was
I
very
figured as much.
presumptuous.
How dare? No.
How
I'm
fucking
here
dare.
for it.
Yeah. Well, because everybody on Twitch is an acquaintance. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, for sure.
but now that I have this understanding that we actually are very much alike, it actually kind of makes me feel better. Like,
Oh.
because you don't know if you are compatible with people in any way, because you're just acquaintances. You're just hanging out in somebody's chat. You can know that you like somebody or you dig their vibes, whatever, but you might not learn a whole lot about the person unless you sit there, do a chat stream, ask them questions. And so I have learned so much about you today, and I'm just like really grateful that you're just a fucking open book. Like,
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes
thank you for
too
being an
much,
open book.
But
No, I don't
Of
believe
course,
in
yeah.
that. I not here. I don't believe in that. Like, I kind of set that precedent on my channel a long time ago, because I have to be my own health. I just choked on the word health. My own health advocate. My own health advocate. And so, like, because of the nature of my autoimmune disease, I got to talk about reproductive stuff. And I can't be afraid to say cervix in front of 200 people. So we talk about poop sometimes too. It's a big part of my life. Pooping is important, okay? So
literally
like,
part of everybody's life. Why is it taboo?
why is it taboo? You know, we were just talking about the menstrual cycles the other day and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this isn't taboo. This can't be taboo anymore. We got to be better about this. So
Totally. I don't think
Open
I've even
books.
mentioned I have PCOS, so like I'm all about it. Like people have no idea what the hell that is.
you need to be in my chronically sickening team. I had no
I didn't-
idea.
I mean, it's not autoimmune, so I didn't know if I qualified exactly for that. But
I think it qualifies. Anything. So I'm going to be working on, like, as this year kind of chills the hell out a little bit, I'm going to be working on opening it up to people. And it kind of goes for all encompassing autoimmune, invisible illnesses, just anything that kind of figures under that category. It could be disabilities, anything like that. And so I've learned a lot from the people that are in it. Joyce Lee is a great example because she has CPSTD. Different order of operations.
PTSD, PTSD. Yep.
There it
Totally
is.
understand.
Added a T in there. Trisha's like, you are so wrong right now.
Literally, my mom always calls it ESPN and never realizes that it's ESP. She's like, "Yeah, I've got ESPN or something." I'm like,
Straight
yeah,
out of
yes,
Mean
you
Girls.
have Entertainment Sports Network in your brain. Yes, that's what's happening.
Just straight. Has she seen Mean Girls? Did she know it was a joke? Maybe she didn't know.
She always just says ESPN. I'm like, I understand what you mean by this point, so we're just rolling with it.
It's raining right now. I can feel it raining.
Yes.
But Joyce Lee, thank you for correcting me. My brain today.
You're good.
So she taught me a lot because she was like, hey, like I know PTSD isn't like an autoimmune disease. It's not like a disability, but it's a mental illness that can cause your body to create and develop autoimmune diseases. And that's what's happened to her. And so she came to me and we had a really long, drawn out text conversation about it. And I'm like, yeah, like who am I to gatekeep? You just taught me something. I'm not gatekeeping for the sake of gatekeeping. I want spoonies and people who suffer with invisible illnesses, not even, not visible illnesses, to have a network, kind of what Sashi did with Fever to Tell, to be honest. It's, if there's charity events, cool. And if there's not, cool. If you find people to talk to, cool. You might find some friends. That's basically what I created. But yeah, I did not know that you have PCOS. So I feel for you. I don't have that particular one, but it is incredibly similar to endo in a lot of ways.
It is. Endo is honestly a bit worse. You guys deal with a lot more pain than we do on a regular basis, so I feel for you. But the thing is, an ovarian cyst sucks, but you don't have to actually have cysts in your ovaries to be diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is fucking stupid. I'm like, it's literally named after a symptom that you may or may not have if you have the syndrome. Like, can we do better, like, as a society with women's reproductive rights and like diseases and like naming things aptly? Like,
Yep. And then PCOD is a whole other situation, and it's just all compounded, and it's I will go as far to say as centuries of our health being written off as hysteria. And you're fine. You're not in pain. You're hysterical. You're being overly emotional. Motherfucker, my organs are glued together. You try existing.
There's a girl on TikTok, Dr. Erin Nance, and she literally goes over different things that women have been misdiagnosed over, or like things that like they had not been diagnosed with until it was almost too late. Like, it's called like Little Misdiagnosed, I think is like the name of the series, but she just goes over all these like invisible illnesses and stuff. I think you'd really like her stuff.
Yes, when we're done, well, even if we're not done, whenever,
I'm gonna
send me her name.
You right now.
Do it.
I don't forget.
I'm like, please send me her name immediately. I will go consume all of her content.
She's all over my FYP. So
yeah, Erin Nance. I had no idea. I will remember that name for multiple reasons. So thank you for that.
I have no idea how you could possibly remember the name Erin. There's no ties to it at all.
Nothing at all. And we're very into Twin Peaks in this household, so Jack Nance is a very regular mainstream name, so I will remember that name in general. But anyway, thank you for sharing that, seriously, because I did not know that. Trish is just here screaming about a fish in a percolator now because of Twin Peaks. That was my fault. We're actually just lucky she didn't do it out loud, actually.
There's this viral video, because I'm old, from like 2005 or 6, and it's like, it's time for the percolate, and that's what I think of when I see the word percolator. And it's this girl, and she's like, it's time for the percolate, and then she falls through a glass table, and then
how have I not seen that?
And then the last thing she says is, it went into my, and then the video cuts off before she specifies what it went into. So.
Oh no. Oh dear.
Yes.
Was this some Vine shit? Because that's what it sounds like.
It was before Vine, dude.
Before Vine, so just YouTube. You're not older than me. You can't.
I'm not, but I feel old so much with these Gen Z. They're just like, oh yeah, that's so cap. I'm like, what the hell is a cap? Like a bottle cap? Like, what do you mean?
Okay, so my cousin, I feel you. We're probably the same age. I'm 34. You cannot be too much below or above that. There's no way. There's nobody else who's much older than me who's obsessed with Hocus Pocus, okay? So you have to still be somewhere in that range. But
I'm solidly millennial, but I will say I turned 30 in April, so.
That's it? Fuck off. You're fine.
Sorry.
Whatever.
I'm still solidly millennial, though.
Yes, solidly millennial, yeah. My husband said no cap to me, and I was like, what the hell? Who the? So my cousin is one of my only vocal. So like I said, I'm very much like you. I have vocal clients. They're not so much students, but clients who have a means to an end. My cousin, who is like, he turned 15 in July, and he's very, very talented, very, very fantastically talented singer. Like nobody else in his family. We're related through marriage, so like nobody else is in his family. Have no clue. But the shit that comes out of his mouth, I hope he's lurking right now because he lurks regularly here. The shit that falls out of his mouth, I'm like, should I Google it or should I just ask him? I don't know what's worse. I don't. Oh.
And at this point, you have like Urban Dictionary saved as an app on your phone because you're just like, it's just quicker this way.
He will get upset with me for not knowing who popular TikTokers are. And I'm like, Alex, my feed is not like your feed.
Yeah, dude. And I try to explain to people, so especially like cishet men, like are just like, oh, I don't use TikTok. And I'm just like, there is literally something for everybody on TikTok. You can be in fucking Frog Talk. You could be like on so many different TikToks.
I haven't seen Frog Talk, but I'm going to now.
Dude, it's a blessing because you only discover Frog Talk at like 3 a.m. when you can't sleep. And then it's just like people building these wholesome little nests in their backyard for frogs to just like vibe and just exist. And I'm like, this is everything that I need in life. So
I said it in our messages so that way I don't remember to look up Frog Talk.
That's important information.
It is. And like book talk, horror book talk, specifically in horror talk, my heart. I live there on horror talk very often. Yeah, TikTok
Beautiful.
is a whole other beast. I don't open it enough. I don't post on it enough, to be honest. Especially as somebody who's forced to be a content creator. We could have a whole other episode about musicians having to be content creators.
It's hard to be good at both Twitch and TikTok. And Auburn toes that line super duper well. But like for me, I can't like sit there and edit videos and like watch myself do cringy shit. And like, I'm like, it's never perfect. And so I never upload because I have that analysis paralysis. I'm like, well, I could do it better, but then I don't have time to redo it. I'm like, ugh. But in Twitch, I can't take back the things that I say. I'm like, okay, well, I said a thing and we're just going to move on from it. And it's going to be a VOD. You can watch it if you want. But
yep.
Yeah, I can't second guess and like watch myself and like overanalyze and criticize things, which is why I gravitate more towards Twitch.
Yeah, honestly, same. And we have the clipping function, which is very, very handy. Like I will throw clips over there all day long, but out of context, sometimes it's like, does this deter somebody from coming to Twitch? Or does it make them maybe, I don't know. That could go either way. Yeah. Trish didn't have a TikTok until one of her paintings went viral.
Ooh,
Was it a guy in Hawaii? She's about to turn her mic on.
It was a guy in Hawaii that bought 4 of my paintings, and then my phone started blowing up while you were at the studio with views and like people buying paintings, and I had no idea why. And it took somebody from another Twitch community to message me and was like, hey, did you paint these? Like, this is you, isn't it? And I'm like, oh, fuck, it is. And I told her, I texted Erin, she's at the studio, and she's like, all caps, this is why you need a TikTok, because I hate TikTok. I don't like watching videos. Still don't. So I made one. I just don't use it.
Yeah.
But I made one.
You did it. Yeah.
There you go. But yeah, that's awesome. Congrats.
Yeah. And it was right in the beginning of when she
was in
had opened.
2021.
Yeah. Right in one of the first months of her having an Etsy open. So I was like, whew.
It was like 18,000 views it got in like an hour or something, that video.
And then it kept going up.
And then it kept going up. Like my Etsy store had over 1,000 hits on it over the course of like 4 hours.
Yeah.
I had quite a few orders that I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but all right.
Oops, you're famous.
Right? What
Good
a terrible
times.
problem to have.
Hi Elfin. I know you've been here a while, but hi. I haven't said hi to anybody who's popped in. So if you've popped in during our chat, hi. We're just wrapping up. Actually, we've been on for about an hour and 20 minutes. And I said about an hour, so give or take. I think we're great. I had one last question for you. It's very serious.
Okay, so I'm gonna expect this to be about puppies or kittens or like cupcakes or something.
No, but good guesses. Please tell us your favorite dad joke right now.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Why does a chicken coop have 2 doors?
It's definitely going to have something to do with sedan and coupe, but I can't get there.
Because if it had 4 doors, it would be a chicken sedan.
Okay, I ruined it.
It's okay.
I'm leaving. Bye. You can finish this up yourself.
It's all right.
Okay, second favorite dad
Okay,
joke then.
Not
Second-
intentional.
I won't actually try to guess this time. Congrats. Thanks. I ruined it.
Well, you know there's a dad joke command you can set up through Stream Elements, right?
No.
Uh-huh. Yeah, ! Dad joke.
So all I have running through Stream Elements right now is the Capigen. So I need to do that again. See, this is why we have messages, so I can just send messages to Dana to remind myself to do things. I will set it up. It's not going to work. I have everything off. Thank you. I have everything off right now in Stream Elements except for the Capigen, so it won't work because Stream Elements was turning everything on. Were you?
Ooh.
Did you have this happen to you?
Mm-mm.
So Stream Elements did some updates, and like every other day, every single command got turned on. And so I had to keep manually going in and turning everything off. Like 3 times I had to do it. So
Yeah, that's annoying.
yeah, it was a thing. So okay, I ruined the dad joke. One more dad joke, and I won't guess this time. If you have a dad joke in your head.
Okay, let me see. I'm actually just going to put one in my chat and then see what Twitch comes up with.
Okay, perfect.
Or Stream Elements, rather.
Yeah.
We're at the mercy of Stream Elements, y'all. So if you ever get this one in the future, you can think of me, whichever this one ends up being. All right, let's see.
I almost broke into think of me. Think of me
I
fondly.
did this karaoke competition on Sunday on Gloop Dog's channel, if you know Gloop Dog, and I actually sang that song, so it's funny you mentioned that.
I don't. Gloop Dog? I don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, GLOOPDAWG. He does this thing called karaoke foreplay, and it's 4 players, which is why it's called foreplay. So
Okay,
it's like
that's dope.
spelled out the number 4. Yeah, he was Twitch Sings royalty. He was like the #1 Twitch Sing streamer. So I keep in contact with him a little bit, but yeah, he does karaoke competitions on his stream.
That is
good
so
time.
cool. That is a good time.
But yeah, I was on the most recent episode, so if you want to check it out, you will know at least one person there.
Still just
all right,
typing things
so-
into our chat.
All the tidbits.
Yeah.
All right, so Stream Element says, what do you get when you cross a snowman with a vampire?
I'm not going to guess. I'm not.
Frostbite.
All right.
Perfect. I love how you laughed like the count.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen the count censored, it's one of my favorite videos on the internet.
No, I haven't.
Oh my god. Okay. The count
Guess we're going
censored.
to. Dana's already on it. I saw her go to start typing. Y'all, we have so many tidbits. There's like 5 things here. We've learned so much today about each other and about things I have to go look up. So I do want to let you go. It's been almost an hour and a half now, and I'm not sorry. I won't apologize for having a good time with you here. If y'all like our collab that I've been, again, respectfully shoving down your throats, if you like everything you've seen and heard today with Dana Baker, please go check out her Twitch. And there are more links that you can go check out from her Twitch. It's already in the chat. If you're on desktop, like I said, you can hover over her name in my title and it will open up a little pop-up dude and you can follow right there without navigating away also. So before we wrap up, do you have any final thoughts? What would you like to promote? If there's anything coming up for you, last words, all the things.
I have been more active on Instagram as of late. I never used to use it, but I've been posting a lot more of like what I'm actually doing and what I'm up to on there. So if you want to keep up with me, follow me at Instagram, Dana Baker Music _ afterwards, because Dana Baker Music was taken. But honestly, I love an underscore, so I'm not even mad about it.
I have tagged you in all of my posts on Instagram. So if you're too lazy to type anybody, go to my post and it's tagged there. And I smidgen of a question. I noticed you have a Patreon. Are you doing anything with that? Not yet.
Not really.
Just kidding.
No.
She doesn't have a Patreon.
I was during the pandemic, but I don't have a whole lot of time to put into it because
It's
I work
hard.
a full-time job. I
Yeah.
stream. I teach 2 voice lessons a week. I do industry networking events. I do co-writes. I do vocal producing sessions.
God damn.
I try to have a social life and actually see friends from time to time. So
You're
I just
doing-
don't have the spoons to really expend into Patreon at the present moment.
Yeah, and if you ever do, I followed you there like a creeper. So If you ever do,
Appreciate
I'll
that.
actually see it because I followed you. Well, thank you so much, so much for being here. And like Dana just said, follow her on Twitch, follow her on Instagram, Dana Baker Music, either here like that, Dana Baker Music _ on Instagram. And thank you so much for being a fantastic collab partner.
Thank you. You did a lot of the heavy lifting, especially in the production. So like, and thank you for having me on here too, because I imagine you have to do prep work and like you have to like, you know, think about what you're gonna say and ask. So I appreciate you doing that and having me on your show. So.
Yeah, of course. And I wouldn't have it any other way. There was only one thing that I didn't actually say out loud from my prep work. And I'm actually kind of mad that I forgot about it because it's a dad joke in itself. And I pulled it out of your panels. And y'all, if this doesn't sell you on Dana, if the whole conversation didn't sell you, this is going to sell you, okay? I'm paraphrasing the beginning a little bit because it was a big part of a bigger paragraph. I come with a special focus in helping artists sing free of tension and strain. Because let's be real, we ought to leave the straining to the pasta colanders.
I was gonna say strainers, but because people don't know what colanders are sometimes, but I was like, that's too much strain.
It's a lot of straining.
Gotta change it up a little bit. But
if this whole last hour and a half didn't sell you, that sure as hell should have, because I wrote it down. It was the only other thing I didn't get to on my list. So yes, we're gonna go raid, but I will let you go. I hope you have a lovely evening at your show and that you are safe and all the things. Thank you again for joining. Thank you for taking the time. And y'all, I hope y'all had a great time as well. This section of the VOD will be available publicly approximately 24 hours from now, around 7:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. I will put it on my YouTube and it will be there amongst all the other episodes that you can watch. I still can't believe this is like my 25th or 6th episode of doing this. But yeah, thank you again. And yeah, I never like want to end. I'm like, so yeah.
I'm so bad
No,
at
you
goodbyes.
hang up.
I'm kind of just like, okay, bye. I just like run out.
Come on. So yes, everybody give huge claps, huge round of applause to Dana. And we will continually respectfully shove the Come Little Children Put a Spell on You mashup into your faces. It's on my YouTube if you want to find it. But yes, I will let you go for now. Yes.
It was awesome being here. Thank you so much for the warm reception.
Of course. And I hope that some of y'all went and followed Dana as a result. I'm just saying, I hope that y'all, I hope you gain some followers and some friends from this as well.
Well,
So we will be talking shortly, I'm sure, because there's always gonna be, now you're gonna be sending me shit because if you like it, I'm probably gonna like it. So now I'm gonna send you shit too because there's a
I have
good
a couple
chance.
people on TikTok that I send so much fucking shit to. So if you want to be one of those people, I can send you random shit on TikTok.
Yes, please.
Cool.
I sign up. Where do I sign up? Here's
Hell
my
yeah.
email. Take it.
It's an informal sign up.
Yes, perfect. All right. Well, have a lovely weekend. It was great talking to you, and I'm sure we'll be chatting soon.
You too. All right.
Okay, bye.
See you later.